All right, so here, number 24. Na can't hear me, so I'm going to be typing everything out to her. But with the video, if you want to watch it, I'll talk as I type. So here, the accompanying figure shows a rectangle described an isosceles right triangle whose hypotenuse is 6 units long. So that means this bottom part here is 6 units long. So what we'll do is, let me get rid of word here. We'll draw this in OneNote. So here's our triangle, with the axis going down the triangle, and the origin is at the bottom of the triangle. So this was at 3, this was at -3. Just keep in mind that on your homeworks, your numbers may be different. So the trick for this question is the fact that this is an isosceles right triangle. This angle up top here is a 90-degree angle. With isosceles right triangles, you're creating these 45 degrees on both the sides. I can't really draw 45. How do you spell isosceles? Isosceles? It's close enough. Another thing about this is that the point at the top has to be the same distance as before, as the horizontal axis. Again, because it's an isosceles right triangle, all of the legs have to match. So that's going to be 3 up top as well, up there. I know that my picture is a little bit stretched funny, but just know for these isosceles right triangles, whatever the horizontal distance midpoint is, the top has to be the same thing. So that we automatically get is 3. So the first thing that they're asking us to do is that we have this point on the end of our triangle here, where this point has an x value and then an unknown y value. So to find that unknown y value, we need to find the equation of that diagonal line. And anytime we're doing equations of lines, we're going to do the y equals mx plus b thing. So hard to draw with my mouse. So the slope for this is going down 3 and to the right 3. So we have a slope of -1. So the equation of the specific line, y, is going to be -1x. And then the y-intercept, you can just see where this line crosses the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis up there at 3. So the y-intercept is going to be 3. So that's going to be the equation of this line, and in fact that's what's going to go here. That's going to be the first answer to our question. If x is the horizontal component, we can find the y component by just plugging it into the formula there, and we get -x plus 3. I think I spelled component wrong there, but that's all right. So if I go back into the homeworks, the expression for the y coordinate is going to be that -x plus 3, that equation that we just found. See if Na's on the same track. Okay, cool. So then for the second part of the question, is saying that if we have this rectangle, we need to find the area of the rectangle. And of course the area of the rectangle is just taking the length and multiplying that by the width. So over here, I'll write it all out. Area is just going to be the length times the width. So for the rectangle that we have here, the length is going to be the total distance along the bottom. If it goes to x there on the right-hand side, it has to go to negative x on the left-hand side. So if the length of the rectangle goes to x on the right, then it goes to negative x on the left for a total distance of 2x. All right, so across the bottom of my rectangle, the length of my rectangle is going to have a value 2x. The width of the rectangle is going to be that vertical height. That is what we just found, which we just found in part A. So that's that negative x plus 3. And again, your equation might be a little bit different just depending if they gave you different numbers when you were working through the homework. So we end up with the length, 2x, the width, negative x plus 3, and we can just distribute the 2x into there to get our final answer. So this says that the area is going to be negative 2x squared plus 6x. So just multiply to get the area as a function of x. And then just to type this in, so negative 2x squared plus 6x, if I want to see if that is the answer here, negative 2x squared plus 6x. And there we go. See if nah is still alright. User the guinea pig. Alright, let's look at the next one then. So the next one that she was asking for was number 25. A pin in the shape of an isosceles right triangle with legs of length x feet and hypotenuse of length h feet is to be built. If fencing costs $3 per foot for the legs and $9 per foot for the hypotenuse, write the total cost C of construction as a function of the height h. The total cost of construction is, and then just write out the formula. Don't include the dollar sign. Okay, so just to reread through the question just real quick. A pin in the shape of an isosceles right triangle, which is the thing that we were just looking at, that has legs of length x and hypotenuse of length h is to be built. So let's draw that. Let me get a new page here. So we have our isosceles right triangle. I'll draw it like this just because that's how I like to draw my triangles. Right, and then it wanted, what did it say? I forgot already. Legs of length x. So this has length x. This has length x, and we have our hypotenuse of h. Okay, and then other than that, let's see what it says. If fencing is $3 per foot for the legs and $9 per foot for the hypotenuse, write the total cost of construction. Okay, so if it's $3 per foot for leg, I wonder if I could type this, if that would be easier. $9 per foot for hypotenuse. If we're building this as a fence, right, all we really need to worry about is the, I guess I should be typing to her. All we need to do here is calculate the perimeter, but make sure we differentiate between legs and hypotenuse. Just because the price to build those things individually is different. So if we have x feet for this leg and x feet for that leg, we have a total of 2x feet of legs by adding the legs together. So that means that we're going to have 2x feet of leg, and those legs, oh geez, how do I erase? Eraser. And these legs are $3 per foot. So then we multiply the 2x by 3, since the legs are $3 per foot. And then we're going to add on to this the price of the hypotenuse, 9. Oh, sorry, we have h amount of it, right? So there's h length of hypotenuse times the price of hypotenuse 9. We will add to this the length of hypotenuse times the price of $9 per foot. Price of 9 per foot. So the last part of it, though, is that the question is only asking us to do this as a function of h. The problem is the question asks us to find this as only a function of h. So we need to figure out a way of writing x as an equation of h. Okay, so to do that, we're just going to be using some either right triangle stuff, some Pythagorean theorem stuff, or you could do some trig stuff if you really wanted to, do some tangent or sine or cosine type things. I'll just do Pythagorean theorem. So we have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So we can use Pythagorean theorem for that, where our hypotenuse is the h, so h squared, and then our legs are both x, so x squared plus x squared. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to, I should have done this in Word. And then x squared plus x squared is 2x squared. And if I'm trying to solve this for h, we're going to take the square root. So we have h squared solved for. We will take the square root. We do not need to worry about the plus and minus. So normally, of course, when you take the square root of two sides of an equation, you have to worry about the plus and the minus stuff. We're not going to have to worry about that in this case, because we're talking about distances, and distances are always going to be positive. So what we end up with here is h is the square root of 2, and then the square root of x squared is just x. And now we could substitute, by dividing the root 2 over, we get x is h over root 2. So since we only want h's, we solve for x by dividing over the square root of 2. Finally, we substitute this into the above equation. Let's see if I can scroll down here. So this x here, this x, I'm going to replace with h over root 2. And what we end up with is 2. I'll go ahead and multiply the 2 and the 3 together. So 6 times h over root 2. That plus, over here it's just 9h. And then we can type that in. So I know it looks awful, and it does. And I guess you really should simplify it, but I'm just not going to do that. So 6h over the square root of 2, that plus 9h. Cool. After substituting the x out. Any questions about that one? And again, your numbers may be different when you're doing yours. But hopefully that helps with solving that one. Awesome. You're welcome. Any other homework questions you want to see? Okay, cool. I have recorded this and I talk and explain my way through it. So I will post this in Moodle and you can watch it later if you struggle again. Okay. Bye, nah. Email me anytime if you have other questions.